Well, alright, guys, how are you all doing tonight? This is Luke back here with yet another album review, and tonight we'll be reviewing Internal Darkness, Raped Body, Raped Mind, released independently by Irritum himself. And Irritum actually left a note in his own words before recording this album saying, on set. Now, I just want to let you guys know before we get into this is actually not going to be a lighthearted album like most of my reviews. If you know DSBM and you've seen me do reviews for it before, other bands such I've done Psychonaut before. If you guys know how that review what went, you guys know how these reviews go. So this isn't going to be a very. I guess this is going to be a different review because you just know how fucking DSBM works. It's very fucking dark and depressive whenever it's done the right way. So, and this band definitely does it the right fucking way. Anyways, guys, Irritum left a note actually after recording this album in his own words and saying, on September 2nd, 2018, I experienced the worst betrayal of my life. He says, I was sexually abused by my former best friend, whom I had known since middle school. She somehow talked me into letting her do things to me that I didn't want her to do. The whole thing felt forced, and I couldn't tell her to stop in fear of upsetting her. And writing this album has done a huge part in helping me cope, but I'm still far from fully recovering mentally. Hells to Svinya, Susan, Aaron, Sammy, and the rest of my real friends for being by my side and helping me through this. And then he says, if it weren't for you, I probably wouldn't be alive to record this album. And he said, this album is dedicated to those unfortunate enough, man or woman, to have experienced any form of sexual trauma. My hope is for this album is to serve as a voice for those too afraid to speak up for their own experiences and don't have to suffer alone. He says, let my pain speak for you. And then he signs Irritum. And I can tell you what, Irritum, you're definitely not alone, man, as this fucking album is so dark. And it definitely will serve as a voice to those. And anyways, without further ado, let's get into the biography of this band, as I always do here on the channel. Internal Darkness is a depressive suicidal black metal band formed in 2007 in New Jersey. While there are 80 plus black metal bands in the state, Internal Darkness is one of the only 4 bands to be given the DSBM label. Originally, the band started as a one-man project under the name Fading Existence and recorded 2 original songs and 3 covers from March to August of 2017. All of which were only shown to friends. Irritum, who called himself Crate at the time, renamed the project Internal Darkness in late September 2017 and released the project's first demo the following month. Irritum's older material was eventually revealed in the compilation album Fading Existence and covers 2017 or 2018, and they were independently released in July 11th of 2019. And that's going to be it for the biography of this band, guys. And without further ado, let's get into the album review. To call this album dark is an understatement. This fucking album is filled with so much hate for the world and just wanting to fucking leave this earth. I can already tell you for a fact, this is definitely one of the darkest DSBM albums I've ever listened to. This album can be fucking hard to listen to at times as it's so raw and fucking emotional. And I'm telling you what right now, there's nothing wrong with that. It's raw and full of emotion, just the way I like it. And it's easy to tell that while Irritum recorded this album, he was completely broken mentally and emotionally. And this was the end, and all you can see is darkness and despair. Let's start with the track. This album kicks off with the track Raped Body, which is about the experience of being abused, the misanthropy, the feeling of someone in control of you and you have no control over yourself and you can do absolutely any fucking thing about it. And this track is amazing. It's probably one of my favorite off the record, and it definitely serves as an amazing intro into this trip you're about to take into a raped mind and stripped innocence. Guys, this fucking shit gets dark, man. And just to give you guys a fucking idea, this is probably my favorite fucking track off the album. And let's actually check it out right here on the fucking channel. This is Raped Body by Internal Darkness, ladies and gentlemen. And we're back, guys. Yeah, that's really fucking dark shit. Next up, we have the track Raped Mine, which is another incredible track in the record that talks about the loss of innocence again and the regret and trauma you get from it. And this track is just as good as the first track. And towards the end of this one, you can hear Irritum screaming, "Let me die," over and over again. And this in of itself is bone chilling. I can't help but compare this album and these two tracks to ones of like Disaster and Silencer, especially Silencer's Death Pierce Me. It actually, the first time I ever heard Silencer's Death Pierce Me, I got chills, and I exactly got the same fucking kind of chills the first time I heard Raped Body and Raped Mind. Another thing, they're both just fucking amazing. These are actually probably my two top favorite fucking tracks in the album. Raped Mind, another fucking amazing track here. Next up, we got the track A Reflection Now Ruined, which is another amazing track and continues this fucked up journey of regret and hatred. And this track also seems to touch more on betrayal and helplessness. This is another fucking amazing track. And lastly, we have the track Genophobic Lemiation, which is Irritum talking about betrayal, regret, and helplessness. This track also picks more back up on the screams near the end, which adds more of the hatred and misanthropy vibe to end out this track. And then it is followed by a Disaster cover to end out this amazing fucking record. Overall, this album's very fucking dark and depressive, filled with despair, misery, and pain. Just the way I like it. And you can tell it's filled with fucking betrayal. And I don't know about you, but that is the way I like my DSBM. You did an amazing job on this record, Irritum. And I'm going to rate this album a 10 out of 10, as it's definitely their darkest and most broke down record ever they've released so far. If you want to check this band out, which I highly recommend you do, I'll leave the link to the Bandcamp down in the description below. And I'll also leave the links to mine and Chaos's Discord server. Those will be down in the description here as well. They're currently closed, but we'll let you know when they're back open and able to join again. Again, I give this album a 10 out of 10. I highly recommend you check it out. If you have any questions or you want to see me review any other albums, leave them down in the comments below. This has been Luke. Take care, guys, and don't forget to stay fucking metal. Have a good one.